Now look, spooky, scary stories. I'm actually not gonna get scared. Okay, spooky, scary stories. I'm actually not gonna get scared. 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 This one, which one should I watch? Which one should I watch? This one, I'm actually not gonna get scared. This one, I'm actually not gonna get scared.
Lang Danny says, scariest one.
What would be the scariest one? Oh, I think, wouldn't it be the top 20 scariest? 20 true creepy stories animated. This one? Let's do this one. It had 2.3 million views.
We really needed that power slide.
It had 2.3 million views.
Let's see your fire for like.
Lang Danny says, yes.
Okay, bet. Okay, I will not get scared. I will not get scared at all. Okay, I'm like Dan Matt Smith in this bitch. Get that out of here. What you know about that? Nothing. Y'all don't even know about Dan Matt Smith for real. Get that out of here, boy. Y'all niggas don't even know about it. That's true memories right there. Y'all don't even know about Dang Matt Smith. What you know about Dang Matt Smith? Nothing. No ball knowledge. Let's go.
In northern Utah, on the edge of a small highway town. There's not really anything but a few stores, truck stops, and motels right up along the main highway. The roads to the outskirts are all dirt, just leading to a few other homes and large private acres of forest and grassy
Danny
fields.
says, you're already getting scared.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not getting scared, bro. I'm watching, bro. I'm not getting scared. Chill.
This was a pretty typical day for me. I worked remotely from home and finished up around 6. From there, I headed into town to grab some groceries and stock up on a few items around the house. Even though it was a highway town, the highway wasn't actually all that busy, so none of the stores were ever too crowded. I pulled in and started shopping. While I was in there though, I happened to notice a guy looking at me. At first, I thought nothing of it. I probably just looked over at him at an awkward timing while he happened to be looking over at me. I kept going about my shopping, but a couple minutes later, and in a different aisle, I saw him again in the corner of my eye. He walked into the same empty aisle I was in and stood just 5 or 6 feet to the side of me. I kept looking forward and tried to find what I needed, but I noticed he wasn't really moving around or grabbing anything. So I just shifted my eyes a little bit over so I could kind of see him better. Even though I wasn't looking directly at him, I could tell he was looking at me. This time I said hi, then continued about my business. The man didn't say anything back to me. I hurried up and grabbed what I needed and left the aisle. Honestly, I just thought the dude was a little weird, but I wasn't thinking too hard about it. I went to the checkout counter and paid for everything, then headed back out to my car. I parked in the far back of the lot like I usually did. I tossed everything in the trunk and got in, and when I looked up at the rest of the parking lot, there were maybe 30 or 40 other cars, but something felt off. Then I saw him again. He was standing between a couple cars, looking over in my direction. He didn't have any groceries.
Why are you just staring at dude, gang? What makes you want to randomly just stare at him? He might like you though. He might like you.
In his hands, so I don't think he even checked out or got anything. The hell was up with this guy? Probably some creepy trucker running on 2 hours of
Lang
sleep
Danny
or
says,
something.
Diddy.
Diddy, it gotta be Diddy, right? Yo, this is some shit Diddy would do.
Pulled out of the
it gotta be
parking lot
Diddy.
and started heading home. The sun was mostly down by now, so the empty dirt roads were dark and quiet. I parked out front and brought in the first couple bags of groceries. While putting that stuff away, I got a little sidetracked by a phone call from my dad, but eventually I got back to it and headed back outside to my car to grab the rest of the groceries. When I did, I saw something. I had to squint and let my eyes adjust to the dark for a moment, but far out and kind of off the side of the dirt road, there was a truck. Its lights were all off. I could only see the general shape of it, silhouetted by the night sky. I own just under 40 acres of land, so where that truck was on my property. It definitely wasn't there when I drove home, and if it was just turning around or lost, why would it be parked with no lights on? I slowly walked up to my car and got my groceries out, keeping an eye on the truck the entire time.
I feel it.
The best possibility I could think of was that it could be just some regular driver that pulled off the highway and thought that this empty land would be a good place to sleep instead of paying for a motel. Even though it was on my property, I wasn't going to make a fuss if I didn't have to. You never know who could be in there, or what they might do. I went back inside. After tossing the groceries away, I opened up the curtains on the front of the house, just so I could keep an eye out there. Over time, say the next hour or so, I felt less and less nervous about it, and thought that it was almost surely a driver sleeping. Still strange, but harmless. I spent another hour in the living room, watching a show, and never saw the truck move. It was getting late, so I closed the curtains and went upstairs to get in bed. I think I fell asleep pretty quickly. However, in the middle of the night, I woke up having to use the restroom.
This is not scary.
I never checked the time,
This
but
is not
I think
scary.
it was probably 2 or 3 a.m. I got up, half asleep, and walked across the bedroom floor and into the hallway where the bathroom was. As soon as I opened the door, I heard a creak downstairs. I'd never heard that happen before. I listened for a second, then closed and reopened the door to see if it happened again, but it didn't. I walked to the end of the hallway and looked down the stairs. It was all dark down there, only a small amount of moonlight coming in from the kitchen windows.
Yo,
But there was something in that downstairs hallway.
this gotta be
I could
Diddy,
see
bro.
a shadow moving ever so slightly on the side of the wall.
Wait, how would you feel if this was you in this situation? What would you do in this situation? What would you do in this situation? Generally, me personally, I don't. Wait, first off, it's this. First off, you go to a store and nigga just keeps staring at you. Nigga just keeps staring at you. What could you do in this situation? He keeps staring at you.
Len Danny says, fucking throw hands, fuck you think I am.
Okay, now what if he make? What if throwing hands with him? What if throwing hands with him makes him want to do it more? What if throwing hands with him makes him want to do it more? Then that's when you up the G5 with a switch on it and bust this nigga ass.
I couldn't tell if it was actually in the hallway, or maybe outside the back door, and the shadow was just reflecting onto the wall, but I immediately felt my heart pumping. I quietly backed up and went back into my room,
Len
closing
Danny
the door
says,
as slowly
I'll
and
start
carefully
throwing knives.
Throwing knives. That's not a
as I
bad
could,
idea.
so as to not bring any attention. Then I got my phone and called the police. I kept my voice low. For the first 5 minutes I waited, I didn't hear anything. I started doubting that they were in my home, until suddenly I heard creaking again. Very slow and very subtle, walking across the floor below me. It sounded like they went into the living room. A minute later, a cop car showed up. There was a scurry of footsteps running around down there, and eventually leaving my home just as the officers ran up. Thankfully, they caught him running back up toward the truck that was parked in the field. Disturbingly, I recognized him as the creepy guy from the store.
Yo!
I guess
W
he
cop!
really was stalking me.
W cop, bro! W, you gotta give the cop props, bro.
Len Danny says, gotta be Diddy.
Got to be Diddy, bro. This is some shit Diddy would do. This is some shit Diddy would do.
Even worse than him following me and breaking into my home, he was armed.
Len Danny says,
The guy claimed
next story.
he was just trying to rob me, but from the looks of it, it seemed way more personal than that. And I don't know how long he was inside my home for, but he never took anything. He didn't even have a backpack to take anything with. Plus, he knew I was home. He probably was watching me from somewhere outside all night. What he really would have done is better left unknown.
Diddy man. You know these are true stories? Yo, why did I get an ad, bro? I'm a streamer getting a fucking ad, dude. What am I doing?
Earn Roblox digital gift cards with Microsoft Rewards.
Len Danny says, yeah they are.
These are true stories.
Len Danny says, it's kinda crazy.
It is kind of
During
crazy.
a road trip last summer. I was taking a long route home from visiting a few relatives, so I was driving about 4 hours each day to a different destination. This was after my last stop. Everything left on the last 8 hours of driving home was just empty woods, as far as I knew. There was another city I wanted to stop.
That one, okay, but you can't
it was just
lie.
too far out of the way
You can't lie. That one was not scary, bro. That one was not scary. I'm not gonna lie. That one was not scary. I didn't get scared for real. That one was not scary.
for me to justify stopping there. From my previous stop, I left
Len
at
Danny
6
says
p.m. to get
that
to
one
my
was
final
mad.
Airbnb.
Yeah, that one was
At
all
the
right. I mean,
cabin.
it got there when I started hearing the heartbeat because I felt my heartbeat. But before that, it was all right.
2 hours away. It happened to be on the route home, so that's why I went with it. I figured it'd be better than whatever cheap and crappy motel there was along the road. Where I was, the landscape was pretty flat, but there were a decent amount of trees scattered around. When I pulled up to the cabin, it was clear they had planted a row of large pine trees perfectly in a line at the front of the cabin, with the gravel driveway going through the middle. Honestly, the outside of it, mixed with the landscape, was a little bit spooky. I parked and unlocked the padlock with the code I
Also, really think about it. Not a single black person. Think about this. You see this? Not a single black person in a scary story. You know why? Because if there was a black person in a scary story, it would have went way different. You think a black person would really sit there and let a dude just stare at him in the grocery store? And then you got the audacity to get on this black dude's land. He's up in the Gen 5 with a switch on you, gang. That ass.
had emailed from the host.
See what I'm saying? All white people, not one black.
Despite the outside, on the inside, the cabin looked newly renovated, probably to be an Airbnb, but it was really nice. Small, but cozy. I didn't unpack much since I'd only be there for the night. I sat at the table and ate a meal I'd picked up from a drive-thru. But only 10 minutes after I'd gotten settled in, there was a knock at the door. It startled me because I had never heard a car pull up or anyone walking outside. I got up and answered the door. There was a man, looking about 40-ish,
Len
with
Danny
a gray
says,
and black beard
bro, I don't
and
get the
shaved
PPL
head.
who like staying in random cabins and shit.
Bro, you know, because they're dumb. That's what it is. You don't understand. I don't understand them too. They're dumb. Why would you want to stay? First of all, you're staying in a cabin. You're staying in a cabin in the woods. Of all places, in the woods. Yo, that means that like anything was to happen to you, mind you, cabins are in the woods where it's like hard to get cellular data or cellular service. So if something happened to you in the woods, it would be hard to get that information to places like in big places. Just book an Airbnb, get a hotel. What is a cabin? Yo, and also this is a true story, by the way, also. So think about that, gang. Dead ass.
Hi, I was just stopping by to make sure you got in and everything was good, he said with a smile. Knowing it was just the host now, I said I was good and it was all great. I then said goodnight and shut the door. I thought it was a bit strange he showed up unannounced just to ask if I was okay, but I thought he must have lived close by or maybe even on the other side of the property or something. Also, it's worth mentioning that the guy had an unusually strong odor coming from him. It smelled like maybe he'd been working out in the field all day. I just found it a bit odd as well. I went back to the table and finished eating. then took a shower to wind down for the night. I was only in there for maybe 5 minutes before feeling tired enough and just wanting to lay in bed already.
Oh, you're disgusting, bro! She took a 5-minute shower? Yo, no way! You took a 5-minute shower? Yo, she's disgusting. She's disgust 5 minutes. Yo, now I understand why you went to this cabin. You talking about that dude's odor? Her odor had to be something else. She took a 5-minute shower. What could you really do in 5 minutes? Cha-cha, cha-cha. Balls. Yo, gang. Nah. Get that out of here, gang.
I dried off.
Get that out of here.
Staying on my phone for a little bit, when there was another knock at the front door.
Len Danny says,
This
shower
one
8
scared
least
me.
15 minutes.
15 to 25 on a good day. On a good day, you liking the shower, you go for good 35 plus, gang. If you're showering for 5 minutes, you're disgusting, bro. If you're showering for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you're disgusting. 15, alright. 20, okay. 25, okay. You want to keep yourself clean. Yo, 5 minutes is crazy works, gang.
Just as much as the first time, because again, I never heard a car pull up or anyone walking outside. It had to be the host again, but why? And so soon after he just came over.
He got a
Immediately,
buzz.
I knew this was odd, and I felt really uncomfortable. I checked my phone, and of course, there was no text or call from him. I slowly walked into the main room, hearing him knock several more times. I wasn't sure if I wanted to answer the door or not, but I ended up just calling out from the other side and asking what he needed. He stopped knocking.
Oh, this got scary. I'm not scared. No, I've said from the start of the video, I'm not going to get scared. I'm not scared. No! Why did it mute?
Can you open the door, please? I just wanted to ask you one more thing. I'll be quick, I promise. I didn't respond for a few seconds, because I honestly didn't know what to say. In those few seconds, he must have gotten impatient, because he knocked on the door again and asked if I could open it. I said I was late and I wasn't in the mood, so if there wasn't an emergency, then I'd like to be left alone. He took a long time to answer after that. The silence was really eerie. Once it reached a whole minute, it was even more so. I didn't hear him walk away, so was he just standing out there? I quietly walked up and looked through the small window on the door. He wasn't out there. I immediately thought that he must have snuck away, because surely I would have heard his footsteps on the gravel if he just walked away. But then, where was he? I didn't know what to do. I felt really
Call the
uncomfortable.
police!
Didn't know why he was acting so strange. I stood there by the door for a minute and listened for anything. Honestly, I was scared to move. But then, I happened to glance over at one of the windows in the living room. I saw his eyes staring into mine. I panicked and sprinted to the bedroom, where I called 911. While I waited, I heard what sounded like him trying to lift open the window, which was terrifying, but also odd, considering he had to have had a key to his own house. But that's when I figured it all out. That man wasn't the host. This was confirmed when police arrived. He'd already run off. We have no idea in which direction. But we got in contact with the actual host and owner of the cabin. I don't know what that man's intentions were that night. Obviously he was lying and clearly plotting something, but I'm just glad I didn't open the door.
Bro, the police be saving y'all. Yo! Yo, gang. If it was me in this situation.
Len Danny says, we need scarier ones.
That's what I'm saying. This is not scary, bro. Bro. Okay, this gotta be scary. Add.
When I was younger, I never realized just how important.
Okay, now look. Before we get into this, let's talk about the other one first. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. That other girl, I'm not even gonna lie to you. That other girl, if I look to the left of my window and I see a dude staring at me, gang. First off, that gotta be Diddy, bro. That gotta be Diddy. That was Diddy, bro. That was Diddy.
The GPS showed 11:47 p.m. when I pulled up to 1247 Maple Street. I should have trusted my gut right then and there. The house sat back from the road, swallowed by overgrown hedges that hadn't seen a trimmer in years. Every other house on that block had porch lights on except that one. It was crouched in sinister darkness. I grabbed the massive order from my basket. 6 large pizzas, breadsticks, wings, the works. The kind of order that made my rent money, so I couldn't afford to be picky about the time or the neighborhood. Just as I got out of my car, my phone buzzed with an updated delivery instruction. Use the side door, knock 3 times. That should have been red flag number 2.
Yup.
He'd better give me a hefty tip.
The side door was tucked between 2 dying shrubs, barely visible from the street. I knocked 3 times like I was asked, shifting the pizza bags in my arm. The weight was making my shoulders ache, but it was my last delivery of the day. The door swung open immediately.
Hey, Jesus! Yo!
Then standing right behind it, counting seconds. "You're late," he grumbled, wide eyes raking every inch of my body. The guy was maybe 50, of average height and wearing a faded gray t-shirt that had seen better days. His hair was thinning on top but long in the back, like he couldn't decide which decade he belonged in.
Sorry, traffic was crazy.
I lied.
That'll be $147.83.
"Come inside." He stepped back, gesturing into the dark hallway behind him. "I need help carrying this."
I can't really come inside. The company policy...
"I'm disabled. I can't carry it all myself. If you can't come in, you better take it back." His face changed, just slightly, but I caught
if you don't take it back, you're bugging.
it. The eyes narrowed and the lips twitched. I looked at him standing there. Neither a cane nor a wheelchair was in sight. His disability was either invisible or non-existent, but I couldn't definitely take the order back.
Okay.
Yo, gang! You see what I'm saying? If that was a black person, never would let that slide, gang. You tell a black person come into my house while you got the pizza right here, gang. You're bugging. Come on, bro. Yo, you see what I'm saying? Yo, and she said okay too, yo.
Just to the kitchen.
I said, maybe there were people with invisible disabilities. Maybe I was being paranoid.
Bugging. I'm
But
taking that
even in
bitch
my
back.
overworked, delirious
I'm not even
state,
that dumb.
I knew I was lying to myself. The hallway smelled all wrong. Not with the stench of rotten food or cleaning products or even mustiness.
This nigga
It
like
was some
Diddy.
repugnant chemical, so strong it made my nose burn and my head spin. I followed him deeper into the house, past a living room where all the furniture faced the wrong direction, away from the TV and toward the hallway we just walked through. "Kitchen's this way," he said, but he was leading me toward a door at the end of the hall. "Down here."
Down?
I stopped walking.
The kitchen's in the basement?
"That's where my guests are waiting." His voice had gotten softer, almost gentle. "They're hungry." Every instinct I had screamed. The house was dead quiet, except for our footsteps. I couldn't hear any sounds of guests, conversation, or TV.
You know what? I'll just leave these here on the counter.
I said, setting the bags down on a small table in the hallway.
Your guests can come up and get them.
"No!" he barked. They can't come up. They're all old men. He moved between me and the front door, casually, like he was just adjusting his position, but now I'd have to go through him to get out. My guests don't like waiting, he continued. Especially not the new ones. They get cranky when they're hungry. My mouth went dry.
What the
I'm afraid
heck?
I'm in a bit of a hurry. Got more deliveries and...
No, you don't. He grinned, sickly, making my supper churn in my stomach. I checked your app. This was your last delivery of the night. He wasn't supposed to know that. I could feel cold sweat glisten on my palms as he took a bold step closer. The basement's real cozy.
Right there. Bow, nigga, what? You walk up too close to me? Bow, and I'm out the door and gone. Hurry. And I dare you to run out and try to chase me. Oh, wow. Yo, you see what I'm saying? First off, I would never even be in this situation, gang. You dead. Yo, bro, nah, you see, they got it, gang.
Soundproof and warm lights. All my guests loved it down there. Nobody ever wants to leave. I fumbled for my phone, hitting the call button for the first contact I could reach. It went to Maddie, my best friend's voicemail.
Hey!
I said it loudly anyway.
Yeah, I'm at 1247 Maple Street. Yeah, that one. Can you come help me with this drop-off? The customer has a really big order and needs help getting it downstairs.
The man's face went white. His eyes darted toward the front door, then back to me.
There's a lot of food here.
I continued into the phone.
Yeah, I'm in the side door. Just come around the back. You'll see it right there.
Hang up, he said quietly.
What? Oh, okay, Jake. Yeah, just hurry. I want to get home fast.
I ended the call and looked at him.
My coworker's wet out. It should just be a minute.
For a moment, white spots danced in my vision as I watched his eyes twitch darkly. I used the distraction to hurriedly walk past him, trying not to run and keeping my breathing steady. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely turn the door handle.
We're waiting for the girl. What's taking so long?
A sleazy voice boomed behind me. There were more footsteps. She had company. I had to let her go. He snapped. I made it to my car, threw it in reverse, and backed out of the driveway faster than I'd ever moved in my life. In my rearview mirror, as I drove away, I caught a glimpse of his garage. The door was partially open, and I could see plastic sheeting hanging from the ceiling and coiled rope on a workbench. My hands were still shaking when I called
W fucking stream, bro. Danny, bro. This is not scary. This is not scary.
911. The police reached the house, made a thorough investigation. The basement was soundproofed. There were zip ties, jars of chloroform stacked in the corner. They even found metal rings bolted into the walls and a handwritten sign that read guests in neat block letters. It looked like a dark web torture room. The cops also found 3 driver's licenses in the kitchen drawer. All young women about 20 who'd gone missing over the past 2 years after their late-night deliveries. I keep thinking about that room, the plastic sheeting, and how he knew it was my last delivery. But mostly, I think about his smile when he said his guests never want to leave, because now I understand what he meant.
What you think about this one, bro? This is not scary, bro. We gonna have to find something else scarier, gang. I'm not figuring. I didn't get scared at all this time. This time, I didn't get scared at all this time. W's, gang.